Earlier, we told you about West Africa Examination Council announcing that it's detected technical glitches. Now, joining us to have that conversation is a lecturer and public policy analyst, Mr. Kenneth Ikenwa. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Kenneth. First off, it was INEC rather, and after that, it has been JAM, and now it's even WAEC. Do you think Nigeria is ready for computer-generated exercises?
Well, we can't be playing catch-up, but this is the best time to also move with the trend. Nigeria should be, at this point in time, ahead of the curve. When we see what some Nigerian indigenous companies have done in financial technology, for instance, and also in medicine, then it is not too much to ask that such capabilities and competences are imported into the educational sphere. And this technology well appropriated for the purpose of giving the best of results. Now, WAEC has given a lot of reasons why they have decided to acquire kind of technology and why they decided to implement it. But the question of technological readiness is not being addressed as much as it ought to have been. So we seem to be so much in a hurry to actually acquire these technologies, but we do not put in place the necessary documentations, the necessary processes and protocols that are needed to ensure that the proper technology is transferred, that there's proper technological innovation management, and there's proper non-technological innovation management. Now, permit me a bit to just break that down. Now, we acquire a lot of technological innovation, and that borders on product technology and process technologies. The product is right. The product is ripe. It's about time. It is long in the coming. It is long in, the integration of the system to move forward. We can evolve and technologically become competitive with our peers in the world. Now, do we go through the process? Document the process, and do we do the necessary due diligence that necessitates these processes and these process technologies to function and not dysfunction? I think that's where the problem is. Now, when we talk about non-technological innovation, that has to do with the marketing aspect of it, the procurement aspect of it, and also the management of these technologies. So that is where the problem is again. And that brings us to the need for us to start emphasizing proper strategic planning, proper strategic corporate governance, of these institutions so that we can have the best from technological processes, advancements we decide to incorporate into our systems.
All right, tell me, how likely is it that these glitches are due to human error versus, software or system failure?
Well, the human angle, the human factor could always be there. We can't rule out the possibilities of sabotage. But you see, it could be second guessing the subject matter because there is, to a great extent, not the proper practice and implementation of strategic governance mechanisms. What does that mean? It means that to a great extent, not even hearing as much as we need to hear, with respect to how transparent, with respect to the necessary full disclosure that is needed for us to actually either empathize with the institution involved, WAEC, or sympathize with them. Well, with respect again to whether this could be software-related problems. All of these things were actually true. But that again brings to the fore the need for us to have the necessary documented process protocol to ensure that when it could be a software problem, it's not a human problem, we can mitigate this problem and ensure that there's proper technological appropriation and this kind of national colossal embarrassment do not happen. Like you rightly said, it was INEC. Now we had JAM. Now we're having WAEC. I'm hoping very soon that the electric meters in Nigeria will not start having glitches and they will start having more problems that we can actually talk about or bear as a country.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen as well, because trust me, a lot of people hit the streets to protest that. I mean, we're talking about tariff hikes and all that in electricity. But anyway, what are the standard protocols, or what I say quality assurance mechanisms WAEC should have in place right now, to help with, to detect and also prevent such glitches before, results are published?
There are a good number of protocols that could have been resorted to and, documented. A good number of protocols that could have been resorted to, and particularly documents, for the process to actually work, to ensure that the product that has been imported actually gives the best performance outcome. Just restrictive about. Now let me take you back to history. In 1992, WAEC did something. The advent of the ICT and its saturation across the Nigerian educational landscape. And what was that? We had some mock examinations, and these examinations were paper examinations, and that was a protocol in preparation for the full-fledged May, June, and December GCE examination. So what I expected that they would have done with this new technology in place is to actually have a pilot run with some dummy candidates. Candidates, for instance, myself, could have been invited to actually sit for 5, 6, 7 courses, and many other candidates, some that are from tutorial centers, sit for these courses, write these exams, and use our capabilities, use our intelligence, use our competencies to actually test run the process. I do not know the extent to which that was done. Then we have what we call consistency checks. This is quite important when examinations of this large scale are quite done. Then to actually add and validate the consistency check, we should have what we call the double data entry or the independent verification. That means, for instance, that whilst one person or one group of people is actually entering the same data, we should have a system infrastructure and architecture in place where another group of persons are actually entering the same data, so that where there is a disparity, there could be a flag up from the technological infrastructure or software put in place, and that could be easily addressed. That will have avoided this problem. Then finally, we should also have mock releases. Mock releases will come from the dummy candidates like myself, like yourself, and a few other people that could have been invited across the 36 states of the federation, including the FCT, to write these exams, have a dummy release, have a mock release, and be ensured that to the greatest possible extent, any form of glitch is mitigated against, and we avoid a lot of colossal spillovers, a lot of technological spillovers that affect not just the image of WAEC itself as an examination body, but also affect the psyche of the Nigerian people, Nigerian parents, and a good number of candidates that are asking questions. Quo vadis? How did we get here?
All right, I must say thank you to you, Mr. Kenneth Ikenwa, for having this conversation with us.